What's up, guys? Jason here. Hope you guys are having a good week so far. Tomorrow's Wednesday, midweek. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, I just want to talk about playing your cards, man. Playing your cards, right? I used to play a lot of poker. I know I've mentioned this a couple times, but I used to strive to be a professional poker player and, had a lot of success. Won many tournaments, lost many tournaments. Um, but anyways, I got to learn the game pretty well. And there's definitely a lot of principles in the game of poker that we can apply to the game of life. And it might sound kind of corny, but it's for real. It's very true. I remember often referring the game of poker to like a mini game of life, because poker is a game that you get cards, and it's a game of lots of changes, lots of ups and downs, lots of thrills, and lots of agony, depending if you're winning or losing, right? And that's so much like life, guys. Like, there's ups and downs of life. There's things that happen that we can't control. But what really is the best way of handling life, or the game of poker even, is how we handle these things, right? There's a thing in poker called on tilt, which is, if you're on tilt, it means that you've lost your emotional cool and you're now playing emotionally and not logically, right? So if someone's playing on tilt in poker, they are not playing correctly. They're not on their A game, right? And same with life. If we're on tilt, if you will, if we're operating emotionally, if we're operating at the effect of our circumstances, at the effect of problems and situations that are coming against us, and not operating, not separating ourselves from these things, and not being a victim of them, and not thinking logically. Gosh, I'm sorry for my struggle of words here. I'm just trying to articulate what I'm trying to say. Um, Basically, yeah, if we're getting too emotional in life, if we're overvaluing our circumstances or letting our circumstances victimize us, it's not good. It makes it a lot harder to win in life, just like poker. If you're playing emotionally, if you're on tilt, you're just not playing your best. You're on your way to losing. So those are just a few comparisons to the game of poker and the game of life, right? Now, let's specifically talk about Texas Hold'em poker, right? You get two cards to start with and go from there, right? And you guys have all heard the analogy. It's not about the cards you get, but how you play them, right? So here's the thing. You guys, we all get dealt different cards in life. Some of us have it easier than others. Some of us have it harder than others. And we can make the argument, say it's not fair. And even if that is right, even if it's not fair, it's not going to help you by saying it's not fair. You got to do something about it, right? So it's not about the cards you get, it's how you play them, right? So what? You get dealt some crappy cards, It is what it is. It's up to you now how you're going to play those cards, right? So, all right, right here this is the worst hand you can get in Texas Hold'em. The starting hand, the two cards you get at first. 7 deuce, the worst hand starting out, right? And here's the best hand. 2 aces, pocket aces. All right. Now, this hand, worst hand, can beat the best hand, actually. As long as the right cards come out. So it's very interesting. Let's talk about tournament poker for a second. Um, Tournament poker is a game of elimination, right? Start with 100 people. The last person left wins first place, right? So, in a tournament of poker, there's at the beginning, the stakes are low. You can kind of wait around for cards a little bit. But as the tournament progresses, the stakes get higher, the antes get higher. You're forced to play, with majority of your chips. So you can't just sit back and wait for good cards. You have to play the cards you get at some point, and if you're gonna make it long term in a tournament. And that's just the thing with life, guys. Is we can't just sit back in life and just wait for good cards to get dealt our way. Wait for prosperity to come our way. Wait for blessing to come our way. Wait for something good to happen to us. No, what we got to do is we got to play that worst hand we get dealt. We get dealt worst hand. All of a sudden, new hand comes. Oh, look at that. Worst hand again. All right, what are we going to do? This sucks. It's unfortunate. We got dealt some bad cards. But it's up to us. Like, what are we going to do with this? How are we going to play these cards, right? And like I said, sometimes this bad hand we're dealt can turn into a good hand and can beat this best starting hand out, right? So some of us start out in life with the worst hand, right? Circumstances, parents aren't in our life, brought up in, abusive households, raised around addiction and drugs and alcohol, It's a bad hand to be dealt, right? Some of us are born with the best hand. We're born into prosperity. We're born into a rich family. Everything looks like you have it made, but there's rich kids stuck on drugs. It's not just poor kids. And so even if you get dealt the best hand, get dealt really good hands, it's not enough. You still got to play those good hands right, So I just don't, guys, I just don't want us to victimize our circumstances. I don't want you to feel like you're a victim and you're hopeless. If you didn't have the best start in life, if you didn't have the best household you were raised in, if you don't have the best circumstances right now, if you're an adult and things just aren't going your way and life is crazy right now, the world is nuts, you guys don't need any explanation behind what I just said. But it's up to us what we're gonna do. There's another quote, like, life's not what happens to you, it's how you respond to it, right? And you guys, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna take the easy way and just try to drink our problems away, smoke our problems away, snort our problems away? Or are we gonna be like, you know what? I'm sick of running from this. I'm gonna face you head on. I'm gonna face you problem. I'm gonna face you challenges. I'm gonna face you pain. I'm sick of running from you. Now it's time to deal with you, and it might hurt. It might burn, It might cause a lot of pain, but here's the thing, you guys, when you really start fighting back at life, you realize those things that had you, so in such a fearful state, or thought those things were so much stronger than you. You realize they're not as strong as we made them think. Guys, our mind can really just make a mountain out of a molehill. I really think about that too, about addiction, guys. It's like, you guys, the thought of just being free, the thought of actually being sober seemed so far away, seemed like near impossible. I tried just quitting weed for 5 years before I finally quit, and I just felt hopeless. And when I did, this is just one example, but when I did quit weed, I literally went crazy. I had massive anxiety, massive depression, massive anger, massive sadness, massive depression. It was it was almost unbearable, you know. But we got to realize that our mind can play tricks on us, and we got to be careful what we're believing in our mind. And I'm just here to reassure you that it's not as big of a deal as, I mean, it is a big deal, but it's not as hard as we might think it is. Getting free, breaking addictions, living in sobriety, now being over 2 years sober, having that stability, that balance, and just that awareness and that realization that these things were lying to me. I was living a lie. I was believing lies that I need these things to just get by through life, just to function, And it's so nice bringing these things into the light and exposing these lies and be like, you know what, that was so far from true, But when we believe lies, we give them power, and especially when they become habits and long time goes by, it seems like it's part of our DNA. It's part of who we are, and it's just not true. We weren't designed to be addicted to a substance, to be addicted to a drug, addicted to a drink. God designed us for so much more than that. So many times I thought I had it. I thought I knew more than God. I thought, I knew better, right? Like, no, I need to self-medicate myself. I need to, give myself these substances when I know I need them or want them, because I know best, right? But when I finally humbled myself and surrendered, and just be like, you know what, God, my way ain't working out too well. I want to do life your way. I want your plans to be made manifest in my life, And that was the key, you guys. I by surrendering and humbling myself, and relying on God's power, the power of Jesus, instead of my own. I mean, bam! That was the breakthrough for every substance, every addiction that I quit, was relying on His strength and not my own. Because I'm weak, I really am, And I tried so many times to try to quit this stuff on my own, and I just couldn't do it. I just white knuckled it, just super hard, and I get finally just like, this is too much, and just go back. But when I fully humble myself and surrender and be like, put it on God, like, God, I can't do this without your help. That was the key. Humbling myself before God and just be like, I need you, God. And yeah. So I just want to encourage you guys to just be hopeful, in so many ways. If you got dealt some bad cards, play them to the best of your ability, and realize, just like poker, if you play the game long enough, eventually you're gonna get some good cards dealt your way. Eventually you're gonna catch a break in life. But doesn't mean you need to sit back and just wait for that until you can do anything. No, do what you can right now. Do what you know, to the best of your ability. So yeah, guys. Life is often referred to as a game. I don't really live fully by that. Like, life's a game, but life can be like a game, the game of life. So yeah, guys, I'm just gonna deal you 2 cards, 2 random cards. Queen 9, offsuit. How are you gonna play those? 5-10, that's a pretty lousy hand. How are you gonna play that? Anyways, guys, relate yourself to however you can to this analogy of poker and in life. And I just encourage you, don't overvalue the cards you're dealt, but understand the value of how you play those cards. So, yeah, I love you guys. Leave a comment. Seriously, you guys, I want to help any way I can. Like, it's seriously my heart to help. And so yeah, leave a comment too, like what you think, areas you can respond better to or whatever. I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts. So I love you guys. God bless you. Take care.